Welcome back everybody, and what I'm going to be doing today is a kit review on this bit of kit right here, which is the Mark VII Long Range Reconnaissance Patrol Pack by Crossfire Packs. So before we get started then, a few statistics about this pack. It carries up to 110 litres in capacity, so it's a beast, okay? This carries an awful lot of kit. Weight wise, it's 5.1 kilos, so that's actually pretty hefty. It's quite a heavy pack before you've even put anything in it. So that's something you may need to consider if you was looking at getting this pack. I'll talk about that later. The material used then is 50D denier texturized nylon, and you can just feel that it's robust. I've used this again in different kinds of weather and different environments, and it's robust. It still looks brand new even though I have used it quite a bit, and they have doubled it up in certain parts around the pack in those areas where you're going to get more abrasion, like on the base, on the edges and tops of the pouches and stuff like that. So it is really durable. It's a durable rucksack. So just one thing to bear in mind as we talk through it, this is designed for military use and not just your average infantryman. It's designed for special forces use, which is why it's called the Long Range Reconnaissance Patrol Pack, okay? So just bear that in mind as we talk through the different features and stuff. Right then, so Crossfire Packs sent me this bit of kit, full transparency. I've not paid for this. They sent me this to do a trial on. I've had it for about 6 months now. I got it at the same time as they sent me the DG3, which I've done a review on. I'll put a link to that on here. Check that out. That's a great bit of kit. Now this is its big brother. As the name implies, it's designed for long range reconnaissance patrols. So it's got a lot more capacity. This is 110 litres in size. So you can carry oodles and oodles of kit in this. All your overnight kit, all your rations, for anything up to a week or even more. This is designed for special forces. It's got a lot of durability. You can organise your kit really well on this, but it comes at a bit of a cost. It's a fairly heavy pack, and I'll talk about that as I go through. But this is an awesome bit of kit. I've tried this out on the hills. I've been on the Brecon Beacons with it, Peak District, Snowdonia, and it is absolutely bomb-proof. I've carried up to a week's worth of kit of this at a time, so it's carried some severe weight, and it's very comfortable. And again, I'll go through those aspects as I talk through the kit. So going through the actual rucksack itself then, I'm going to talk about the different pouches, pockets, stuff like that as you go through. And as you can see, it's got loads of pouches and ways to organise your kit within this, but that continues on the inside of the pack as well. So going from the top to the bottom then, first thing you've got is this Claymore type pouch on the top here, and it's pretty big. It's bigger than a normal Claymore pouch would be, but that's how it's kind of referred to as a Claymore pouch, and that's zipped. So the way you get into that is via these two zips, and you can see these zips are really heavy duty quality zips there, okay, and they've got the heat shrinked rubber on them to make it easier to grab hold of those and just yank them open. So a nice big, just an open big pocket on the top there, really good for all the stuff that you want to keep, fast access to, things like a med kit. I always carry a waterproof bag with things like toilet roll, spare batteries, lighters, stuff like that in there as well. Glove, hats, always your head torch, and maybe a notebook and pen if you haven't got one of those in your pocket. But a nice big top pocket there. Just below that then, here, what you've got is a zip pocket, and this is lined with like a soft material. So for military use, and this is kind of a military designed kind of bit of kit, then you put your NVGs in here. But if you're not carrying NVGs, if you're not in the military, that's an ideal place to put a pair of sunglasses, because it's nice and soft and lined inside there. What I would say though is if you were to put a pair of sunglasses in there, make sure you haven't got anything particularly heavy in the top here, or it's going to crush your sunglasses. Flipping the pack back round then, on this side on the top flap you've got a zipped pocket there with a mesh lining in, and that's nice and big as well. You can get plenty of stuff in there. And this pouch here on the top is actually detachable as well, I forgot to mention that. So you've got these 3 little buckles here, and that's just a molle system. It's the way that they've designed their own molle system. You just tuck that buckle and pass it through. And if you wanted to, you could have a cleaner top to this without this pouch. So there's 3 pouches there just on the top lid so far. Okay, right then, so on the actual back of the rucksack here, these are 2 fixed pockets, okay, so you can't take these off. Personally, I'm 100% happy with that. You know, it's great having that organisational capacity on the back of your rucksack. So what you've got is these Fastex buckles, and these are a little bit unusual. They're not the usual Fastex buckles. The top part of it is fixed in place, so you can actually undo these and do these back up with one hand quite easily like that. So that undoes, and then you've got a little Velcro piece there to kind of stop it from just flapping open. If you literally was in such a rush you just had to shut your pocket and then just get your kit on your back, that will hold it there for the moment until you get a chance to do it up properly. And then within that you've also got a little drawer cord as well, just to make sure any smaller items aren't going to fall out of that pouch. So within this pouch then, what I've got in here is quite a substantial brew kit and a jet boil. So your usual size jet boil there, and that fits quite comfortably in that pocket there. So, you know, quite a decent size there for carrying quite a different, you know, array of bits of kit if you wanted to. And that just closes up like that. Behind these pouches then, what you've got is a pass through as well. So that goes all the way through to the other side. So you could put a long item in you know, behind that pouch. So you could slide in there a machete or something like that, okay? Which is, you know, I think it's a great idea. Same on this pouch, same capacity. Again, fixed top part to the buckle. And what I've got in this one is a water bottle. So your standard litre water bottle with a bit of room to spare in there, you know. So you could, again, underneath that, you could put, say, another brew kit or whatever. You could put a couple of boiling bags in there on top of it, whatever. So there, your 2 external pouches. And also another thing, you can feel when I've put my hand on there, you can actually feel there's a bit of protection actually built into the pouch as well. There's a slight bit, it's not padding, but it's kind of double lined. So whatever you've got in there, it's going to be fairly well protected. Okay, going on to the side pouches then. So I'll turn the rucksack onto its side there. You've got these slightly larger side pouches here, and they are fairly big, these ones. They're kind of configured in pretty much the same way. You've got an adjustable strap, you've got the fixed top part of the buckle that can be done up with one hand like that, and then a little bit of Velcro just to secure it initially. Again, you've got the snow lock there just to keep all your contents from falling out. But on these ones, you've actually got a mesh sort of flat pouch at the top that's secured by a little bit of Velcro there. And that basically, you know, you could put your small little items in there. You could put something like your water purification tablets or something like that in there, which is, you know, it's a nice little extra bit of organisation. And because it's mesh, you can see what's in there too. In this side pouch then, I've got an issue basher, so easily big enough for something like that, with a little bit of space to spare as well. So I personally like to keep my basher on the outside, just so that you can, you know, when you get the chance to stop, and if it is hammering down with rain, you can get your shelter up nice and quick, and when it is wet, it's not going inside the main compartment of your rucksack, so it doesn't sort of get the rest of your kit wet. Going on to the other side then, what we've got, exactly the same. You've got the same size pouch, and again, these are detachable ones. They're held on with a molle webbing, so if you wanted to strip these down and take them off and make the pack a bit more streamlined, you could take these off. Going into this one, and exactly the same setup as on the other side, all the same stuff, and then I've got 3 days worth of rations in there, so loads of, you know, boiling the bags. I've even got a packet of noodles, biscuits and all the rest of it, so there's 3 days worth of rations there, so you could carry nearly a week's worth within those 2 side pouches. Okay, behind these side pouches, what you've got is, again, a pass through. So I'll put my hand all the way through there. I could fit that all the way through to about there on this one. On the other side, and I'll go through why it's different in a minute, on the other side I could put my hand all the way through, if this wasn't here, to the bottom there, and you've got like a a keeper section there. So on this side I've got my parang or machete, and that sits nice and comfortably behind this pouch there. So at the bottom there then you've got it's like a pouch, but it's more like just a keeper point really. So if you was to put something really long in there, like I don't know, a tripod for a camera, something like that, then this would stop it, you know, from basically potentially sliding out through to the bottom, okay? You could possibly stuff something like a water bottle in there, but there's no retention, there's no bungee or anything on this, which potentially I think would be a nice little improvement. It's not much, but yeah, it'd give you the option of basically securing something a little bit better in that pocket there if you wanted to. However, on the other side then, what we've got, and this is quite unusual. So this is different, you may have noticed from the other side. This has got this buckle here and a flap. Now, the reason why that's there then, this undoes, and it's got a side opening pouch. So in there, that's your sleeping bag pouch. And built in, you've got this waterproof material built into this part of the pack to keep your sleeping bag waterproofed, okay? Obviously it's harder wearing too, so because that's on the base, it's going to give more sort of durability to the base of the rucksack. So inside here then, what I've got is a Corinthia Defence 4, just as a bit of a reference point. A lot of people use those rucksacks. So just goes to show you, and I'll talk about these in a sec, it just goes to show you the sort of size of sleeping bag you can fit in there. So on the back here you've got compression straps, and what that does is once you've got your sleeping bag in, you can cinch them up nice and tight, compress the whole thing into a nice sort of neat package. So I've just undone those then, and there's my Corinthia Defence 4, quite a sort of largish sleeping bag. So it just goes to show that, you know, the size of sleeping bag that can fit in there, and that fits in there quite comfortably with a little bit of space to spare. So you could fit a slightly bigger sleeping bag in there. I'm not sure if an British Army Arctic sleeping bag would fit in there or not. Possibly if you really stuffed it in loosely rather than being in the stuff sack. I don't know. I've not used one for years. So that goes in there. And like I say, if you have a look at the base of the rucksack there, you've got these 3 compression straps, and what that does is once you've got the sleeping bag in there, you just cinch it up nice and tight and it neatens everything up. One thing I would say, it's a little bit of a shame they didn't put the strap tidiers on there, because when you have tightened these up, these kind of flap around a little bit, and you could possibly tuck them into the molly loops, but it's not that easy, and also, you know, the ends may not reach that far. So that's just something I think is a slight oversight. It would have been nice to have strap tidiers on there, as you see with a lot of the other straps. So that's that kind of unusual sleeping bag compartment on the bottom. You know, it's different, it's quite good. I think it's quite a nice sort of feature. It keeps your sleeping bag away from the rest of your gear, and it's waterproof too. So it's a bit unusual, but it's quite cool. So coming around to this side of the pack then, what I'm going to do is cover again from top to bottom all the different features, including the carrying system. So the top lid then is free floating. So you've got these 2 buckles here. You can actually remove it completely by taking it off like so. But you've also got the ability to undo these strap tidiers here on both sides, and then you've got the ability to have that free floating lid, which is great for increasing the capacity of the pack if you're carrying ridiculous amounts of kit. Or underneath here you could carry something like a rope or an anti-tank weapon, you know, a 66, a law, or whatever. You could stuff that underneath the top flap. So that's what these things are good for there. And these, you know, strap tidiers are great. You just neatens all the stuff up like so. It just keeps everything nice and neat and tidy. Then you've got this section here. This is a Velcro flap, and underneath that you've got a zip, and this gives you access to the main compartment directly in there, okay? So what this can do, you can have antennas coming out of here. You've got 2 flaps there, you've got a double zip there, so you can open it just there, you can open it in the middle, you can open it on the side here. Underneath there you've got another little port, so you could have antennas or you could have cables from radios, you could have your hydration bladder tube coming out of there, and it gives you just loads of different options of being able to organise that sort of thing there. That little system is really good actually. Then you've got a great carrying handle, drag handle, whatever you want to call that there. It folds kind of fairly flat against the back of the pack, so it doesn't stick against your neck as you're tabbing around, but it's nice and sturdy. Then you've got the actual carrying system itself, which is built around this polymer frame, which is great. I mean, you can see super sturdy frame there, and it kind of flexes slightly with your body as you're tabbing. Okay, so it's not like the old metal frames you used to get. But this would definitely give you the capacity, the ability to carry a lot of weight in this rucksack. Okay, then you've got an amazing carrying system. So these shoulder straps are lovely and comfortable, really, really comfortable. You've got the load lifter straps at the top there, again with the strap tidies, keeping everything nice and neat and tidy. You've got a great chest strap there, adjustable chest strap. It's on these Velcro keepers that are basically, you undo them and you can move that up or down, and the Velcro just locks it in place, and that will stay there. Okay, unlike some of the ones that are on like a ladder thing where it can slide up and down, you know, under tension, these will stay fixed. You've got a really positive fixture for your chest strap there, and again with the strap tidier there, keeps it nice and neat and tidy. The quick release system, and I mentioned this on my previous review on the DG3, the quick release system on these shoulder straps are absolutely great. Okay, so for military use, if you are, you know, in the shit, you need to bug out, you need to dump your kit, your heavy rucksack, then these give you that ability to do that really well. And they're positively, they positively stay fixed when they're not in use, you know. So if we don't want to dump your kit, they're going to stay fixed, unlike some of the other systems I've seen. The main strap stem there are adjusted here, and you've again got the strap tidiers, which are great. And then at the very bottom there, then what you've got is the lumbar pad, which is really well padded. Absolutely great support for the weight when you're carrying it on your back. And then on the sides of that, you've got these two wings here, and these are actually removable. You've got like a little buckle system there, and you can take those off. So if you were carrying this with belt kit and you didn't want the waist strap because you were carrying belt kit, or even body armor potentially, you can take these off, and there's, you know, it takes off a little bit of weight, plus it tidies it up. Instead of having to tuck this away around the back or somewhere, it gives you the option to just take them clean off if you're not going to use them. But this waistband is awesome. So if you are using it in a normal, you know, way where you're carrying it as a rucksack as opposed to with belt kit and stuff, you've got a great buckle on the front there, nice and positively fixed there, and then you've got the straps here that tighten in towards the centre of your body, which is far better than the ones that pull out that way. It cinches it down much better against your waist, and obviously if you can use one of these, carrying the maximum amount of sort of weight of the pack on your hips is the way to go. Going into the main compartment, then you've got buckle on either side and just the normal top flap opening. Underneath the top flap, then what you've got is access to that mesh compartment I mentioned earlier. So that's not a separate compartment, but what it does, it gives you the zip here to actually access it from the other side too, which is pretty cool, to be honest. So you can be sat there with your rucksack open, and instead of having to kind of turn your rucksack over, you can still get to it from that side. Okay, first thing you're going to see then is this kind of Y strap here. Okay, and that goes all the way around there. Now that is great, it's a compression strap, and it keeps the load nice and compressed and stabilised. Okay, the other thing that you can use this for, if you were carrying some sort of rope, you put the rope underneath that strap, place it over, do it up, tighten it down, and that's going to keep the rope nice and safe and stabilised over the top of your kit. So you've got this hood here that's held in place with quite a simple, it's a funny little thing like a dowel type thing. You just basically pull on that and it opens straight up. Nice and simple. So going into the main pack, then first thing, I've put this in just to show you basically there's some spare bits and pieces that come with the pack. You've got this radio pouch here. Now this can attach on the back side of the pack right there, on these buckles here. so that can fit in there, or you've got the option of putting in one of these. So you've got a hydration carrier there, nice and big too. That carries up to 3 litres of water, that one. And you actually get 2 of these in there. I've got one fitted, I'll show you in a minute. And also on top of that, with the pack, what you get is this spare set. So you get a whole load of buckles and straps and stuff that are basically there to repair. You can self-repair the buckles. The way that the buckles are fixed on this rucksack, basically you just slip the strap through and you can repair it yourself, you know, if you do step on a buckle or something. Okay then, what I've got is a rucksack liner then with the main bulk of my kit, and I'm just going to remove that, and that's quite a hefty amount of kit that you probably see. That's fairly big, that. So looking into the main compartment then, you've got a few different ways to organise your kit. First one we'll talk about is this mesh pouch on the sort of front facing panel of the rucksack. You've got a zip access at the top there, and personally I think it's a perfect size for putting in my Hennessy hammock, but you could use that for anything, you know. You could use that for organising your kit, for putting rations in, whatever. But that's a good little zipped mesh compartment there. And left and right then, what you've got is these long mesh compartments with a flap top secured with Velcro. These are relatively long here. I'm going to put my hand in here and just show you. So that's kind of 2/3 of the way up my forearm there. There's the end of my hand there. So you could even put a pair of sort of lightweight trainers in there, you know, for your wet and dry kit routine, flip-flops, anything really, radio hand seals, that sort of thing. So they're quite cool. And then on this back side here, so that's kind of towards your back that way, you've got this 3 litre hydration bladder sleeve, and this is held in place with these little buckles here. So you just, if you wanted to remove them, you just basically take these tabs out through the buckle and take it off. That's the same way that the other accessory pouches attach. The radio pouch there, and again there's that other hydration sleeve there, so that's how they attach in there. At the very bottom of the pack then, what you've got is a Velcro panel just there that undoes, and that gives you full access all the way through. So that sleeping bag compartment I showed earlier, that can kind of fold flat, and you can make a longer compartment for your main part of your rucksack, and that's all that is in there. So that's the main sort of features inside the rucksack, and I think it's pretty cool there. You've got a lot of good ways to organise your kit and to access it in different ways. So this is what the pack looks like when it's worn. As I mentioned, it's got a great carrying system, really comfortable shoulder straps, good sternum strap, and a fantastic waist belt that you can adjust by pulling inwards towards your stomach rather than the other way. Makes it a lot more comfortable, and it sits on your hips really nicely. So a bit of a 360 then, looking at it from the side, from the rear, and then back round again. Okay then, so that is the Mark VII Long Range Reconnaissance Patrol Pack by Crossfire. What I'm going to do now is talk through what I perceive, what I see as the pros and cons to the rucksack, okay? So first off, cons. So first thing, it's not light. This thing weighs 5.1 kilos, which is a lot of weight before you've actually put anything inside it. But you can see that because of all the molle webbing, the fact it's got an external frame, all the different pouches that you can take off to add the modularity, and the fact that it's designed to, you know, military specifications, that's going to make it heavy, okay? That's why it's so heavy. Second one is the price. Now this is not a cheap rucksack, depending on the options that you choose. This is available in Coyote Brown, like it is here, Ranger Green, and Multicam, and I think it's the Multicam one that's more expensive. So it's not a cheap rucksack, okay? But as they say, you know, you get what you pay for, and you know, there's more expensive makes out there, the likes of Mystery Ranch and things like that. So personally, you know, it just depends whether it's within your budget or not as to whether you would even consider paying that amount of money for a rucksack. But as for the actual design of it, the only thing I'd say is something I mentioned is these lower straps here. I personally would have been really nice, I think it would, if they put the strap tidiers on them, like they have done with a lot of the other straps around the rucksack. Just maybe my OCD, but you couldn't really take those up because you need them to compress what's inside. But it would have been nice to, once you compressed them, have the option to kind of tidy them away rather than having them catching on stuff as you're moving through, say, a complex environment like the jungle. That's it for cons from my point of view. From the pros then, I'd say firstly, durability. This is bomb-proof. You could drag this through all sorts of brambles and stuff. You know, military designed equipment is designed to be durable, and that's what this is. You could take this on operations over to places like Afghanistan or to the jungle, and it's pretty much going to hold up. And the fact that you can actually change the buckles in the field, I think is a great feature as well. The next point I'd say for the pros is the load carrying comfort, okay, because this thing is designed to carry heavy loads. So if you are in the sort of job where you're going to be carrying an awful lot of weight on your back, you know, for prolonged periods, this has got that load carrying system that's going to allow you to do that without it crippling you, apart from the actual weight, which could cripple you anyway. You know, old soldiers always complain about their knees, don't they? The next thing that I think is a great pro about this is the organisational capacity of the rucksack. Okay, so you've got the external pouches everywhere like these, you've got the zip top flap compartments, you've also got the internal capacity, and then you've got that quite unusual sleeping bag compartment at the bottom as well. But all these things allow you to access your kit, keep it organised in a really good way, which is something I particularly love when you're in the field, especially for military use, because you operate in the night time quite often. You can't get torches out, so if you know where you've put things and in their own little separate compartments, it's just great. It makes your life a lot easier. And the last thing is the sort of modularity. So you can take these side pouches off, you can take the top lid off, the whole top lid, or you can take just the top pouch off. So it allows you to kind of strip the Bergen back and make it a bit more sleeker if you was moving through, again, like a complex environment, so you wasn't catching things with the side pouches. So it's not just a fixed rucksack, it gives you the option of changing things around slightly, and that's inside the rucksack too. So you've got the option of either having those side internal pockets, or you can take them out, and you've also got the hydration bladder sleeves and that radio pouch too. So the whole thing's mega modular, which is, you know, again, for military use is fantastic. That's my review on this rucksack then, the Mark VII Long Range Reconnaissance Patrol pack from Crossfire. Let me know what you guys think. You know, I've used packs like this before in the military, nowhere near as good as this though. Unfortunately, I won't have the option to use this in my service now, but anyone that is serving, this might be the sort of thing that you might want to consider. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. You know, whether you think it's the sort of thing you'd like to use or not. If you've got any experience using this, let me know your comments. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and we'll be seeing you again soon. Stay prepared.